In this tutorial, we're going to show you how you can cut clear shield paint protection patterns using the ComputerCut program. First, you open up the program and then go to the clear shield paint protection database and then to your make. In this case, we're going to go to a Chevy 2019 Silverado 1500, and we'll select the LT, and it pulls up the patterns for the Silverado. We have the full hood and fenders, and mirrors, the bumper, door cups, door edge, rockers, the roof and pillars, and the headlight. Down here we have a picture of the vehicle, and if you click on it, it will enlarge it so you can check to make sure that the vehicle that you're doing is the vehicle that's in the database. Also, before you start, you should go down here to the notes and installation tips and check to see if there's any tips on how to install this particular pattern or anything that you might need to avoid in installing this pattern. And then also, if you want to learn a little bit more about the vehicle, down here is a link to the website for this particular vehicle. Okay, a little bit about selecting the pattern. You just click on the pattern and it selects it. But whenever you are selecting a pattern with multiple parts within that part, it's always best to, rather than just clicking on it, it's best to just click and drag a box around the whole part, because sometimes it might not select those parts within it. Okay, so let's go ahead and select the hood, fenders, and mirrors. We'll click and drag a box around this. And they're pre-arranged for certain sizes of film. In this case, it's arranged for a 24-inch. If I hit Control A, it selects everything in there, and as you can see down here, it shows the height of the patterns. So in this case, if you've got a 24-inch roll in there, all you have to do is just hit the cut button and it'll cut for you. But let's say you have a 36-inch roll of film in here, and you want to optimize this for a 36-inch roll without having to manually go through and move all these patterns around. So to do that, you just go to the Optimize and then click on 36-inch, and we'll just uncheck this because it takes a little bit longer for optimal placement, and click Apply, and it will optimize it for a 36-inch roll. So to optimize this, it's as easy as just selecting the patterns, the width, and click Apply. Okay, we'll close out of this and then close out the plotter dialog. And let's say we're going to cut this bumper here. So again, I'll click and I'll drag a box around the bumper. Hit the cut button, it pulls it into the plotter dialog window. And as you can see, all of these sensors are included in here. But what happens if you have a vehicle that does not have these sensors? Well, it's pretty easy. All you do is just click on the pattern and go over here to the Ungroup. Click Ungroup, and what it does, it separates each part out individually. So you can just click outside here, and then we'll click on the sensor there, and if you hold your Control key down, you can select multiple pieces. So we'll select all these pieces here. And then we'll just hit the delete button, and it deletes them from the bumper. Okay, let's say you want to cut this pattern, but you only have an 18-inch roll. So what we'll do is we'll select it here, and then we'll go to down here, the Path Editor, click on that, pulls it into the Path Edit window, and in here you can adjust it however you want. So we'll go up here and we'll take a ruler and we'll click on here and pull it down. And for an 18-inch, we're going to go probably somewhere around 16 inches, which is right there, which is about halfway in between those two boxes. So we'll go up here to the slice function and we'll click on one side and then across to the other side. And then go over here and do the same thing over here. We have to go back up and select the slice function, and we'll click here and then click here. And that slices it there, so now we'll click apply. And when it comes in, it's grouped. So again, you're going to have to go in and ungroup it. So we'll ungroup it here. And then we'll pull these pieces out. And if I click on here, down here, as you can see, the height's 16.64, so it will fit on an 18-inch roll of film. Okay, so we'll close this out here. Okay, so let's say you have a customer that wants to have the patterns wrapped. In other words, they don't want to see any seams in a pattern, so they want it wrapped around the edges. So in order to do that, let's say, for instance, on this hood here. So we'll grab the hood and hit cut. And basically what you want to do is you want to enlarge this so that it can wrap underneath the edges of the hood. So you go over here and click on the outline function right here. And in this case, it's going to have a enlarge it by a ½ inch, and you click wrap, and what it does is rather than throwing an outline around this, it just makes the image a ½ inch bigger all the way around so that you can wrap the edges. One last little trick I'd like to show you. If you have dealt with paint protection before, you'll know that whenever you cut a pattern, a lot of times it's really difficult to see where the pattern has been cut. So when you try to weed it, that is separate out the excess out away from the pattern, it can be really difficult. And sometimes you can even tear into a pattern and ruin a piece of material. Well, a good little trick I'm going to show you here is we'll select these hood fenders and mirrors here, click the cut button, and we pull into the plotter dialog window, and I'm going to hit Control A, which is going to select everything in there, and then go up here and go to the outline feature. And I'm going to put an outline around each one of these images here. I don't really need a ½ inch. We'll just put, say, a ¼ inch outline in here and click apply. And what it does, it throws an outline around each one of these parts. So when you weed it, you're not weeding out all of this excess material here. All you have to do is just find this outline and pull out the outline, and you've got your image here. The only thing is, it takes a little bit longer to cut this because basically you're cutting it twice, but it can save you a lot of time in weeding it, and also it eliminates you from possibly damaging a pattern because you didn't weed it correctly. And that's a quick little lesson on how you can select and cut and edit patterns and edit clear shield paint protection patterns using the ComputerCut program.